Those who don't know that failure is inevitable.
And coming up on the business segment of the news, discos lose 97 billion naira to energy theft, others in 3 months. Details of this when I return. I am Okpeyemi Adeomi. Stay with us.
And on sport news tonight, Super Falcons beat Ghana in the 2022 Ocon qualifying fixture. This and more to come later on the news. My name is Moses Jewumi. Stay with us.
And starting with this Jerry news, Ogun State School of Nursing and Midwifery has been granted full accreditation. This is in line with Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration and ensuring growth and development in all sectors of the state. Ayodeji Oluwumi reports that the current administration, since inception, has been making a turnaround on the 3 campuses of the school in Abeokuta, Ilaro, and Ijebu-Ode. His reports.
The briefing was to intimate the press on the achievements of Ogun State Ministry of Health, particularly as regards the State School of Nursing and Midwifery achieving full accreditation. According to the commissioner in the ministry, Dr. Tomi Koka, this is an unprecedented feat in the state health sector.
It is with great delight and pride in our administration that I inform you of the positive outcome of the recent visit of the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria to Ogun State, which brought about the following. Firstly, full accreditation for all schools of nursing and midwifery for the first time in the 45-year history. Secondly, the approval by the NMCN for the schools to go collegiate, thus changing the nomenclature of the schools to Ogun State School of Nursing Sciences.
Speaking further, Dr. Tomi Koka reiterates the state government's commitment on delivering on its promises in the overall development of the sector.
Meanwhile, there are ongoing efforts with the Ministry of Education to conclude the approval of the National Board of Technical Education, NBTE, which will enable the college to award ordinary national diploma and high national diploma, which is OND and HND academic certificates to the students. These diplomas will also come with professional certificates of registered nursing, RN, registered midwifery, RM, or registered public health nurse, RPHN.
In another development, the State Commissioner for Health enjoined the general public to make use of Jigi Dapo, which is an initiative launched with the aim of providing a wide array of air care services. Ayodeji Oluwumi, Ogtv News.
Members of the Coalition for Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria have been assured that necessary stakeholders will be engaged for immediate domestication of the Older Persons Rights and Privileges Bill in Ogun State. Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, gave assurance while hosting members of the coalition led by its chairman, Dupe Oladimeji, at the Assembly Complex, Okemoso, Abeokuta. Kolawole Leosho's report is presented in this package.
Speaking on the purpose of the visit, Chairman of the coalition, Mrs. Dupe Oladimeji, explained that the formation of the non-governmental society was meant to provide a platform for the entrenchment and sustenance of the well-being of older persons in Nigeria, while awakening people's consciousness towards promoting and ensuring their well-being and dignity as older persons. Oladimeji, who decried the flagrant abuse of the elderly in today's society, especially while using public facilities, sought formulation of policies that would further cater for their medical and social needs in the state.
We acquired a lot of respect to old age in Nigeria. We want to create a society where we all look at age as something to be desired, not something to be dreaded, or not something you think about and it makes you sad. Because you could be sad in an environment where you are just brushed aside.
In their contributions, a retired permanent secretary, Elijah Akinyemi, a neuropsychiatrist, Dr. Folakemi Ogundele, a public analyst, Mr. Gbenga Gbeson, and another member of the group, Dr. Sholesi Abiodun, called for the creation of a directorate in the State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development to further plan for the aged through the collection of statistics with a view to catering for their well-being through qualified manpower, including social workers and medical personnel. They lauded the efforts of the state government on the training of the community health workers who often attended to the aged at the grassroots health care center, appealing for more social amenities for the aged, who they say are not economically stable to cater for themselves socially and medically, among other challenges. Responding to their submission, Speaker Right Honorable Akunle Oluomo stated that necessary stakeholders will be engaged for the immediate domestication of the Older Persons' Rights and Privileges Bill in the state. He added that such legislative action became necessary to uphold the dignity of the aged, thereby addressing the prevalent societal abuse, stereotyping, abandonment, denial of rights, and family exploitation against the aged, while giving legal backing to safeguard their rights and privileges.
But I want to be doubly sure of what I'm doing. I have asked those that matters in the legal drafting arena of the state to look at it, look at the cost implication for the government, and see how we can bring everything. But you know that in a state like this, they will want to prove it beyond the state, because those who implement will ask you for what is called financial implication. And that is the stage I am. Before I bring it to the floor, I know my members very ready to go along with us in a matter like this. But let me assure you, right away, that this House will do everything possible.
Commending the advocacy effort of the coalition, the Speaker counseled the senior citizens to equally engage concerned stakeholders towards conveying their inputs towards the enactment of the bill by the Assembly.
All primary and secondary schools, as well as government science and technical colleges in Ogun State, have been directed to proceed on the first term mid-term holiday for the 2021-2022 academic session from Thursday 21st to Friday 22nd October 2021, according to a statement signed by the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Aribabu. All schools will be expected to resume for the second half of first term on Monday, 25th October 2021. Parents and guardians were enjoined to ensure their words are properly monitored during the mid-term holiday. The era of endless waiting before picking up leadership roles in Nigeria is fading out. In Abeokuta, the state capital, a 7-member of the National Youth Service Corps, Blessing Raymond, has enlisted 60 secondary school students in an empowerment initiative. Margaret Okunola reports that a philanthropist, Chief Olumide Aderiokun, picked the bills of the initiative. Her report.
Think Kindly is an initiative born to invest in the future of the younger generation as part of community development and service to humanity. The project Think Kindly, an initiative of Blessing Raymond, has offered scholarships to 60 students in Ogun State, and this was brought over by the Olumide and Stephanie Aderiokun Foundation to keep Blessing Raymond's dream alive. The sponsor, Chief Olumide Aderiokun, said education is a powerful weapon that can be used to implement change in the world, and therefore the need to invest in the future generation.
Pivotal parts in their life, once you're in SS3 and you're going to university, that is when, that is the more critical time. So you just want to make it easier for them and their parents, because of the difficult times in Nigeria now. So I'm so happy that we're here.
The facilitator, a serving National Youth Service Corps member, Blessing Raymond, said Project Think Kindly is a way of giving back to the society and fulfilling the community development service of the scheme.
if you're developing or impacting the future generation, then you're guaranteed that the future that you're going to is a good one. So that's why I thought about this. The scholarship is to enable them register for their WAEC and JAM. And if we get them interested in their education, if they know that someone out there is interested in their education, they'll be motivated to do more.
Dignitaries present encouraged students to make judicious use of the opportunity.
This is time to catch them, to give the awareness that they need to be upright, they need to face their studies, to be good to their neighborhood, to be good to themselves, to be good to their parents, and to be good to the state and to the nation at large.
They'll have a significant impact on the lives of those children. Any little assistance from anywhere will go a long way. And especially at this stage, the children need it very much. It will be a succor for some parents.
Abdulazim Bolahon, a student of African Church Grammar School, Itaiko, Abeokuta, who emerged the overall winner, expressed profound gratitude to the youth corps member for the gesture.
To help me greatly by paying for my exams and other things I have to do in school, my advice to other students is that they should try to improve on their studies and try to go higher and so higher in the studies.
As an all-encompassing event with keen attention on other aspects of students' life, other highlights of the event were mental health talk and poem recitation. Margaret Okunlola, Ogtv News.
All married women who are pregnant and nursing mothers not deployed to their husbands' places of domicile can now proceed to the National Youth Service Corps camps within the spouse's states of residence, the scheme has said. NYSC, however, said the pregnant women or nursing mothers must present for registration, in addition to other documents, evidence of marriage, husband's identity, and evidence of husband's place of domicile. Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Shuaibu Ibrahim, said this during a briefing on the 2021 Batch C Stream 1 orientation exercise, which commenced on Wednesday in all the 37 camps nationwide. The Director General explained that the new policy was to ease the burden on the women, saying the NYSC is an organization with a human face. October 20, 2021 makes it 1 year after youth in Nigeria staged a protest demanding immediate disbandment of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, complete reforms of the Nigerian police force, and also an end to bad governance. Several investigative panels of inquiries were thereafter set up by state governments to compensate victims of police brutality and extrajudicial killings. Bumi Adigo in this report takes a look at the protest 1 year after and many interventions that have happened after. His report.
When EndSARS started in December 2017 as an advocacy against police brutality, no one knew that it would transform into a movement that would later lead to a bigger revolution. From social media to the streets of Nigeria and beyond, youths staged the biggest demonstration in the history of 21st century Nigeria. With nothing but an internet connection, skills, unity of purpose, and a burning passion for a better Nigeria, youths shut down the nation and forced the Nigerian government to order the immediate disbandment of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, and pledge reforms for the Nigerian police force with a purely egalitarian structure. The youths provided security, legal and health services, entertainment, and funds for the protest. 1 year after the historic EndSARS protest, youths again have clamored for the many government's promises to be fulfilled, while there has been move for immemorial protests in honor of those believed to have lost their lives at the Lekki toll gate on October 20, 2020. The federal government and several state governments warned against such move, with security agencies put on red alert to ensure nothing of such is seen anywhere. This is Lekki toll gate, epicenter of the NSAS protests, but security operatives were everywhere to arrest anyone staging any protest.
It's unfortunate that the government has not been able to do anything since after that time. Even the so-called reorganization of SAS into what they call SWAT, it's like putting old wine in a new bottle. So nothing has changed.
In Ogun State, the peace being enjoyed since the current administration came on board still permeates everywhere, as people were seen going about their businesses without fear, and certainly no NSAS memorial gathering seen anywhere.
That movement achieved greatly the complete outlawing of SAS itself. It was scrapped from the entire organogram of the Nigerian police. And that means that was a major achievement by the movement. The second leg of it, of course, was how do you now assuage the feelings of those who have been negatively impacted.
Although the panel of inquiries set up by Ogun State government to look into use of alleged brutality and extrajudicial killings by security operatives against the people of Ogun State has submitted its report and work has begun on it.
Most of those whose cases were proved beyond reasonable doubt have been sufficiently compensated. And policemen that have been deemed to have committed infractions that were not in agreement with police ethics and standard operating procedure have also been reprimanded accordingly. That, to a great extent, has attended to the situation of those who came forward.
As this and many of such acts continues to threaten the unity of the country, the President Muhammadu Buhari-led government always tell the naysayers that Nigeria will stand and it will come out of all its many troubles, even in the midst of all. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
Thank you so much, Bumi Adigun. Now, the federal government has demanded an apology from Amnesty International, CNN, and DJ Switch for misleading the world that there was massive killings at the Lekki toll gate on October 20, 2020. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said the trial should tender unreserved apology for portraying the Nigerian military, police, and other security agencies in bad light. Addressing newsmen on Wednesday in Abuja on first anniversary of the Lekki toll gate incidents, the minister reiterated that contrary to the claims by CNN, Amnesty International, and DJ Switch, the military did not shoot at protesters. Lai Mohammed said CNN acted unprofessionally by relying on unverified and possibly doctored social media videos, as well as other open source information, to conclude that a massacre took place at the toll gate. Free and fair elections as the main ingredient of a thriving democracy has over the years been a contending issue in Nigeria's democratic experience. Matthew Shomi takes a look at the challenges of free and fair elections and the role of a reformed electoral system and an independent umpire in the special report.
There can be no democracy without periodic elections through which leaders emerge and candidates are elected into different offices. Since the advent of democracy in Nigeria, the integrity or otherwise of major elections has been one of the major challenges facing the nation's democracy and source of concern to many, even as efforts are underway to reform the Electoral Act preparatory to the coming elections.
I expect INEC to follow the provisions of the Electoral Act in the conduct of elections in this country. That is the first one. As far as our National Assembly is concerned, it is also important, for them to also move in tune with the reality on ground.
The people who are contesting should disabuse their mind as to giving the electorates money. If they don't give them money, the right person will be chosen. The politicians have to be very careful. They have to desist from buying votes.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is the body saddled with the responsibility of conducting elections in Nigeria and also ensures that all the necessary provisions in the Electoral Act were followed in order to have an election that the nation could be proud of. The process of the transmission of results from the polling units to the collation centers is one aspect of the electoral process that has generated different opinions over the years.
So I believe that the general public is in support of electronic transmission of election results in this country. When we use our asset or what is called a mobile network coverage, why is it impossible for us to devise a means in this country of showing the results in each of the polling booths?
There are so many places, the rural areas. Is it not going to affect the rural areas? If so, it is not good enough. But given the fact that the result will go direct to the source,
you need a lot of ad hoc personnel to use when you use the manual system. But if it is transmission, you reduce a lot of factors: cost, energy, stress, and the likes.
The journey to free and fair elections that would further entrench democracy is no doubt a continuous one as conversations continue to make the system better. Matthew Shomi, Ogtv News.
And still to come, President Buhari eulogizes Turkey counterpart Erdogan for humanitarian gestures. Details of this and other stories after this short break. Thanks for staying tuned to the People's Daily. Nigeria and the Republic of Turkey have resolved to deepen and expand the long-lasting relations between the two countries in various fields for enhanced benefit to the people and economy. This came to light after the high-level bilateral engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Turkish leader Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Abuja. This is the third formal engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and his Turkish counterpart, Erdogan, in the last 5 years. The first was in Abuja in the year 2016, and the second in Ankara a year later. President Erdogan is accompanied on the latest visit by high-power delegation, including his wife, to reflect the robust, warm, and cordial relationship with President Buhari and indeed Nigeria. The two leaders therefore met behind closed doors for almost an hour, critically analyzing all aspects and dimensions of the relationship between the two countries. This is with regards to what has been accomplished so far, as well as areas that require improvement for enhanced social-economic benefit. At the news briefing shortly after, President Erdogan told journalists that he and President Muhammadu Buhari share the same resolve of taking the relationship between the two countries to the next level on the basis of win-win scenario and mutual respect.
Nigeria holds the manufacturing position of the entire continent, and our trade volume between the two nations reached $2 billion last year. Thus, Nigeria became our most outstanding and the biggest trade partner in the sub-Saharan Africa for the Republic of Turkey. But however, we still believe that this level we have achieved is far from being adequate. We hope and pray that we will be expanding our trade volume up to $5 billion immediately.
And to further contribute to the economy and social development of the African continent on the basis of equal partnership for peace and stability, a Turkey-African summit, President Erdogan said, is scheduled to hold in December this year.
Monitoring the developments unfolding in Nigeria, in our brotherly and friendly nation. The terrorist organizations, the armed gangs, and the marine bandits are continuously active in Nigeria, and the Nigerian authorities are continuously fighting against them. So in order to cooperate further in the fields of military, defense, and security, we are doing everything that will be available. We are ready to share our capabilities, ever-expanding capabilities as the Republic of Turkey with Nigeria, especially in the field of defense industry and security, which are being praised by the entire globe.
During the visit, the Turkish leader commiserated with Nigeria over the loss suffered as a result of the recent attack by bandits in Goronyo, Sokoto State, and wished an expeditious recovery to the injured. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, has urged officers of the Lake Chad Naval Basin in Baga, Borno State, to be extra vigilant and alert against insurgents and criminal elements. This is as a reminder to them of his mission and mission statement, and urged them to work towards realizing the vision in line with the promise of the President and Commander-in-Chief to end insecurity in Nigeria. The naval chief stated this when he paid operational visit to Baga. While addressing the officers and regents, Gambo said the relocation of the naval base Lake Chad to Baga constitutes is a key operational objective in the ongoing effort at ending insurgency in the northeast. He said the military high command in general and the Nigerian Navy in particular recognized the critical role of the naval base Lake Chad and the state's commitment to ensuring that the naval base continues to carry out its operational mandate and indeed make Nigerian Navy proud. Gambo commended the personnel at the base for their good conduct and urged them to maintain the standard. He warned them to avoid substance and drug abuse, which is capable of compromising their health and operational effectiveness, and stressed that the Nigerian Navy would hand over any personnel found wanton to NDLEA or the appropriate government agency. The Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, on Wednesday, said preferences placed on paper qualifications by employers in Nigeria is responsible for high incidences of examination malpractices in JAMB. He also said the simple way to make public servants shy away from corruption and oversharp practices is to make available to them appropriate minimum welfare packages. The former Vice-Chancellor, University of Ilorin, made the assertion in Abeokuta, the Ekiti State capital, while delivering the 10th annual lecture of the Forum of Heads of Federal Government Establishments in Nigeria. Speaking on the topic, value reorientation for effective service delivery, JAMB perspectives, it said no worker should choose to remain indolent, disloyal, and unproductive if his working environment is appealing. Oloyede blamed various cases of fraudulent practices in schools, especially during external examinations, on too much emphasis on paper qualifications by authorities while engaging people for employment. Ogun State High Court has convicted and fined an official of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Mr. Idowu Olumuyiwa Olamide, for certificate forgery. The convict was charged before Justice A.A. Akinyemi by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission for using a forged national diploma certificate to secure an upgrade in his office. ICPC spokesperson Mrs. Azuka Ogugua said in a statement on Wednesday that the convict knowingly made false statement, which is contrary to Section 25, subsection 1 of Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000, and punishable under Section 25, subsection 1b of the same Act. The court was told how the convict presented a forged National Diploma Certificate in Automobile Engineering from Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, Ogun State, to NSCDC to be upgraded to senior cadre. He had earlier entered a not guilty plea when the charge was read to him in June 2021 when he was first arraigned. A federal high court, Abuja, on Wednesday fixed November 22 for the arraignment of ex-aviation minister Stella Odua over allegations bordering on fraud while she served in the office. Although Odua, who currently represents Anambra North Senatorial District at the National Assembly, was scheduled for arraignment before Justice Iyang Ekwa on Tuesday, the proceeding could not take place due to a public holiday. However, a check at the court on Wednesday by journalists revealed that the matter, though not on the court's list, has been fixed for November 22 and November 23 for trial. The judge had given the warning after Dr. Hassan Liman, counsel to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in the alleged 5 billion naira trial against Odua and 8 others, told the court that Odua and one other defendant were not in court to take their plea. The anti-corruption agency is alleging that Odua misappropriated public funds to the tune of 5 billion naira while serving as Minister of Aviation. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi said port state control officers must display high level of professionalism in carrying out their duties of inspecting foreign ships at national ports. The minister who stated this at the 11th Port State Control Committee meeting of the Memorandum of Understanding on PSC for West and Central Africa region, also known as Abuja MOU, said the inspection of ships to verify their condition, equipment, and whether the ship is manned and operated in compliance with the requirements of international conventions and regulations must ensure maritime safety and security of lives, assets, and to prevent pollution. The minister further called for continuous training as requirement to maintain such standards at ports, while calling on member states to work together in achieving set goals. Amechi said, bearing in mind that port state control officers are ambassadors of MOU, it is therefore important that they constantly undergo continuous trainings which will impact on their knowledge and skills as well as the overall standard of inspections at the ports. And still up next is business news with Opeyemi Adeomi. Stay with us.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. Electricity distribution companies have said a total of 97 billion naira was lost in the first quarter of this year to energy theft. Capping of estimated billing and other factors, the Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors, the umbrella body for 10 of the 11 discos in the country, said the amount lost by the power firms rose by 12.79% in the first quarter 2021 from 86 billion naira in fourth quarter 2020. It said 23.24% of the 7,880 gigawatts received by discos were lost to energy theft and others. Earlier, it was reported that the revenue collected by power distribution companies rose by 42.3% in the fourth quarter of this year compared to the same period of 2020, brought by the hike in electricity tariff. The group said the discos overall aggregate technical, commercial, and collection laws had continued to deteriorate as it rose to 50.3% in March this year from 48.5% at the end of last year. The president of the African Development Bank Group, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, has said that the bank would provide Nigeria with strong support to tackle its food security challenges. He said this while he received a high-level Nigerian delegation led by Nigerian Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Muhammad Abubakar. Adesina said the bank's strategic support for Nigerian food production will be hinged on 5 factors: support scale, systemic speed, and sustainability. Inflation in Nigeria is high at 16% or more, with the consumer price index in the price of food at almost 65%. With the price of food driven down, inflation can also be driven down. The African Development Bank president further asked the agriculture minister to focus on developing the right team and strategy to boost farming season in the country. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has again threatened to decommission about 7,012 telecommunication masts belonging to operators that are indebted in the regulatory body. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Regulation stipulates that no persons or organization shall put a structure, permanent or temporary, within the navigable airspace of Nigeria unless such a person or organization is a holder of aviation height clearance certificate guaranteed under this regulation. Aligned with this, the regulatory authority requires an aviation height clearance approval for every tower installation in the country, irrespective of the height and location. The apex regulatory body for aviation had in 2019 issued a similar threat to decommission unlicensed telecom masts belonging to service providers, banks, and financial institutions. Nigeria's contribution to African trade may increase significantly in the near future as Afreximbank has unveiled plans to roll out a payment system that would enable intra-African trade to become consummated using domestic currencies. The bank also disclosed that this has approved over $26 billion in support of Nigerian public and private sector entities since its inception in 1993. Executive Vice President, Corporate Governance and Legal Service, Afreximbank, George Elumobi, while addressing participants that gathered at the Intra-Africa Trade Fair 2021 official Nigerian Roadshow, said the initiative is expected to enhance industrialization and export development in Africa, as well as reduce over-dependence on foreign currencies. The Director General of the International Renewable Energy Agency and the International Labour Organization have signed an agreement to reinforce their cooperation to promote employment and decent jobs for women and men in an energy transition that leaves no one behind. According to a statement on their website, the International Labour Organization Director General Guy Ryder said the rapid development on renewable energy is indispensable to the pursuit of the Sustainable Development Goals, making such a transition conducive to decent work creation with more and better jobs while ensuring a job transition for all is essential. And that rounds up the business segment of the news. Back to Mojisola.
Now to the foreign segments of the news, the world today. The United States is prepared to start vaccinating children aged 5 to 11 against COVID-19 starting next month, a move that will make 28 million more Americans eligible for shots, the White House said on Wednesday. President Joe Biden's administration said it had already set aside enough supply and partnered with 25,000 sites nationwide, including doctors' offices, hospitals, pharmacies, and even schools, in anticipation that regulators may soon authorize the Pfizer vaccine for kids. The Food and Drug Administration will convene a panel of experts on this issue next week, followed by the CDC on November 2 to 3, with authorization expected soon after. During a clinical trial, children in the 5 to 11 age group received a 2-dose regimen of 10 micrograms compared with 30 micrograms for older age groups. The shots were given 21 days apart. Pain and swelling at the injection sites have been among the most commonly reported side effects in people of all ages, along with